Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, the Red Dirt Aggie, and this is Colin
And I'm
Luna, the
Colin Luna,
lunatic,
the guest.
the guest. Yeah, the guest, the Aggie Baseball expert, an expert in all things Aggie sports, and an all-around great guy. We've had him on before, but not on video before. So say hello to your fans.
Howdy.
Howdy. That's right. And Colin Luna, no relation to Bo Luna, our last guest from a couple days
Long
ago.
lost cousin of mine.
Yeah, maybe relation.
He
We
got
don't
all the
know.
singing talent.
But so we'll start off with sports today. Football, Aggie football. We had a quarterback transfer. We picked up a quarterback transfer in the portal to add some depth. I don't think he's anyone who's going to compete for the job right away or take that away. But it's good to have depth, and I think we saw that last year, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
we
always
used
need
three
depth.
quarterbacks last year, and we saw that the year before last too.
Yeah, you just never know, especially
We
in
had uh,
SEC
we
play.
had Blake Boast with the most come in a couple snaps, a couple seasons ago.
Oh yeah, the embodying the spirit of the 12th man.
I'll never forget being at that Auburn game, so Zach Calzada got hit, and Blake Boast came out for one play, and then then you see on the side of the field the trainer is just popping Calzada's shoulder back
Yeah,
into place, and then he just runs back out there.
I'm good, bro.
That was
Good,
one of the
bro.
wilder things I've seen.
Yeah, and then now he's over at Auburn, right? So it's
Yeah.
just
I
yeah,
also I want to know what they did to Calzada in the tent at the end of that Bama game.
yeah.
He kind of like
I
died
hope it
on
was
that
legal.
play where he threw a touchdown to tie the game at 38, and then his like knees were assassinated.
Yeah,
He like couldn't move, and they took him off
Blake
into
Bow
whatever
starts warming up
that
again.
tent. They took him into that tent on the side of the field, and then he came back out and was like looked amazing on that last drive to get us into field goal range.
Shout out to Aggie trainers, I guess, right?
Yeah,
They kept him alive enough for those two games.
yeah.
So yeah. But we also had a big running back transfer come in, and he is big, right? From what I understand, he's a yeah,
Dave
larger
Bailey's
dude.
240 pounds out of transferred from Colorado State. He
David
was
Bailey.
originally at Boston College. He was recruited by our offensive line coach Steve Adazio, who was the Adazio. I actually don't know how to. Yeah, I haven't heard that name out loud a whole lot.
Adazio,
My keeper center.
close enough.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
anyways, he was recruited by him up to Boston College, and then he transferred to Colorado State when Adazio coached out there, and he had a pretty big season in the 2020 to 2021. He had carried the ball 197 times, had 9 touchdowns. Then he kind of had some injury issues, and now he's
yeah,
transferred here for his last year of eligibility.
well, let's make it a good one. We hope.
Yeah.
We certainly hope so. And going into that, what what level of hype should we have? Should we have any hype? It's kind of like you have to be cautious after last year because the hype was just like through the roof, and then it was like, oh no, at the end of last year. So it's like, do you try to be cautious, or do you just like say screw it, we're gonna win the Natty? Like I feel like there's only one or the other. It's kind of hard to be in the middle.
Well, right now I'm pumped up and I'm excited. I'm thinking we're gonna go 8-4, but it's not that my takes are still marinating. Give it about a month and a half, and I'll have us up to 10 wins, and then by August 1st, I'm gonna say we're 11-1, and we're gonna go to the SEC championship game, and then by then after we beat the hell out of New Mexico and we score a lot of points and our offense looks really good, and I'm like, yeah, I know it was I'll be like, yeah, I know it was New Mexico, but
But
that's when I'll start saying we're gonna win the SEC and go in the playoffs, and then you
yeah,
know it ramps
it's
up.
it's the annual cycle. You just hope that you don't ever have to have battered Aggie syndrome kick in. You hope that you can just avoid that and ride it all the way to the top, and there is no fall off.
Exactly.
But I mean, I think realistically, talent wise, on paper, it's certainly possible that you could see a 10-win season talent wise, but it was certainly possible last year talent wise too. It's just you never know the way injuries are going to unfold, what's going to happen coaching wise, if there's going to be off the field issues. It's all those other variables that kind of come into play, and they can come back to bite you in the butt. But uh, looking looking at basketball, Buzz is pulling in some decent recruits or something like that, right? I think I saw recently he's signed some higher level talent out of high school, which is something he's struggled to do in the past. He's always been good at pulling in those transfers and those guys from the smaller schools.
And we got that transfer from Middle Tennessee last week.
Yeah, and he's still doing good at getting transfers too, and that's a testament to the program he's building. I'm a big Buzz guy, big supporter of Buzz Williams.
I
Uh,
think
I,
with our team, we're never gonna get. We're very rarely going to get the big 5-star like McDonald's All American talent out of
yeah,
high school. We're just not that kind of basketball program. We don't have the support historically.
and I wish we did
Yeah.
because like there's a lot of money at A&M. If they put some more of it towards basketball, we could very easily be one of those programs.
Yeah.
But yeah, but but you got to work with what you got, and I think Buzz does a good job at covering up for that by pulling in those transfers, and
Well, if
now
you
he's
get
starting
some
to
good
recruit.
transfers, get some older guys,
Yeah,
then I mean, by the time they're in year 4, year 5, it's they're even when they're going up against the Kentucky and all their 18-year-old like freshmen, that's like
it's true.
grown men against 18-year-olds still.
And it's true, and I mean, if
And
you think
college
about it,
basketball,
it's like
you have all those one and dones, so
yeah,
the
it's kind
really
of like
top guys aren't there very long.
yeah, so it's like if you get a guy for 1 or 2 years, it's not really any different than if you get an ultra talented guy for 1 or 2 years anyway, but then he doesn't have the experience. So it's kind of like, well, it's a trade off.
Well, I
I
think
mean,
it's kind of
both
what
ways can you be successful?
I think that's why some of those mid majors have been doing so well in the tournament lately.
Yeah, because they've been playing together for an actual four to
Yeah,
six
especially
years,
with the
even
extra
6 years
COVID year.
sometimes.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
25-year-olds that have been in college and weight training programs and everything for 7 years
grown men. Yeah,
playing against 18-year-olds.
yeah, like yeah. Like what's his name at Gonzaga who's been there forever that we tried to get to come to A&M.
Yeah.
but but yeah, so the the big one that we haven't talked too much about lately on the show. I've neglected it a little bit. I've been busy, y'all. I'm getting married soon. Bachelor party next weekend. Colin's gonna be there. It's gonna be
Yeah.
lit. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
Our
anyways, back
Mississippi State coverage might be a little fuzzy.
yeah, the Mississippi State coverage might be a little fuzzy. But we'll try to watch some over there. Place a few bets. We'll see. We're gonna be at the
Okay,
Golden
speaking,
Nugget
can we gamble
Lake
on
Charles.
college baseball? Do they have like? I know it's a thing at some
Uh,
places.
yeah, but not on Alabama probably right now. Not on Alabama, our upcoming opponent. But big win over Florida last weekend in the series. I mean, what'd you see in that? I know we had the run rule, the walk off balk, but what'd you take away from that series, or just
We
like
actually
what's
had good
going on?
pitching on Sunday.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
first.
yeah. I like. Will Johnston's been. I think that's the last 2 weekends in a row now. They've had him going in as a Sunday guy. He started out the year kind of using him in the closing role out of the bullpen as one of our most reliable relievers. Now,
Yeah,
now we've been throwing him in throwing him in as a starter. Yeah, I mean
right.
he went like 4 innings. He didn't go super deep, but it's nice to not be in a 5-run hole by the third inning.
Yeah, which has kind of been the way it's been, or even after the first inning, it's been with a lot of
Yeah.
the A&M games.
Yeah, the crazy it's unbelievable that we managed to literally go 33 straight games without having a starter record a win, and we're still on the bubble for the tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so that's the thing. We're still on the bubble, so it's still very possible that we're gonna make it in there. I mean, we just gotta win. A few games coming up, right? What do the odds look like? What's the magic number? What do you think the magic number would be? What do
I
we have to
think
do
so.
going forward?
Right now we're at 11 and 13. I think historically, to make the tournament out of the SEC, you got there's you got to be at least 13-17, which our RPI there's no way we're going to get in with 13 wins.
So
But
since we're A&M,
we've
we
done
need
that
15.
before. Occasionally, some teams have gotten in, but
Yeah.
then 14 and 16 is usually the magic number. But again, there's so many teams crowded around us with about the same conference record and everything this year, and we didn't have we didn't do well out of conference.
Yeah, we
I
were.
mean, you can't drop a series to. Did we beat Seattle? Was Seattle the one? No, we lost to Portland. We dropped a series to
Yeah, it was
Portland.
Portland.
Yeah,
Portland.
and
I think it was
yeah,
the opening weekend. Yeah.
yeah, you can't have the losses like that and get in at 14. We got a shot at 14-16, but it's
Some
not great.
midweek losses.
I think
Some midweek
15 is
losses
where we
to
got to
like.
be. 15 and 15, I think, is going to put us safely on the bubble.
Mhm.
But as we know too well, selection committees hate us.
Oh yeah, so we need to win like 16 or
So
17.
I'd say 15 and 15, win a couple games at the SEC tournament in Hoover. Or if we could go 5 out of 6 amazingly and get 16 and 14, then we'd for sure be in. But I think 15 is what we got to shoot for. And we got a
Yeah,
good
I
shot.
agree.
We got Alabama. They're another middle of the road team. They're about the same as us, but they don't have a coach because we'll have to get into that in a little bit. Um, but
That's
yeah,
gonna be
Alabama
good.
without their coach, and then we've got on the road at Mississippi State, who's only got 6 SEC wins all year. But
Yeah,
it's a road series in the SEC, so you can't ever take that for granted.
especially out there, that ballpark is crazy, dude. That Mississippi State one, they have like apartments and stuff out there in the outfield, right? Or
Yeah,
was that Ole Miss that did that? I think it was State.
that was
But
Mississippi
yeah.
State.
Mm-hmm.
Because they
But
have a train in their outfield.
yeah, no, they don't have a train though. They do not have a train. We have a
Yeah.
train. We have a train. We always will have a train. By the way, someone recreated Olsen Field in this is just another interesting little fact I saw the other day. Someone recreated Olsen Field in MLB The Show 23, and it's like a really detailed, accurate representation. Like they have the whole train in the outfield. They even made Kyle Field like in the background and everything. It's really
Yeah.
cool. If you guys haven't seen it, like just if you just search Olsen Field on on the stadium share, it's there. It's pretty cool. Any gamers out there? But
Another good interesting thing in this series, for Brett Middish's been out. He was out the whole Florida series. He got hurt against Tarleton. He
mhm.
separated his shoulder diving into home plate. But Schloss said on his radio spot or his Rudy's show, whatever that he's got his coach's show at Rudy's every Wednesday. That
They all seem to.
yeah, that at his barbecue show, he he mentioned Brett Mish was taking batting practice today, and he thinks that he might be back this weekend, which that would be huge.
That would be huge for sure.
That was another part of our early season struggles was when he had broke his finger diving into first base. You know what, he's got to stop diving head first.
Well, especially in the first, you're not supposed to slide into first. That's what they teach you, like, in the
Yeah,
very beginning, right? Don't slide into first.
yeah.
Doesn't get you there any faster.
What do you think the record is on like diving related injuries in a season?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess more than one.
Yeah.
Which we have two, so we might be close to it. Well, I don't know. Does that factor in like diving to catch a ball in the outfield too, or just diving into bases?
Just diving into bases. I mean, you hear people like breaking their fingers or like jamming. That's why they have those weird gloves that are like super thick. They
The oven
sometimes wear
mitts.
when they're running. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like a freak thing to not only break your finger but then separate your shoulder diving in the same diving into home in the same season.
Yeah, but I mean, eh, Aggie Sports are no stranger to freak things. I mean, you remember even in remember that football game when was it Speedy Noyle whose face mask just like obliterated or he lost a tooth or something like that. It was on the kick return and everyone thought it was
Oh yeah,
targeting, but it wasn't targeting.
when the Bama guy targeted the hell out of him.
Yeah, it's all over YouTube now, and they're like, "This is definition targeting. What happened here?" You
The only
can
other
look it up.
the only other like targeting thing that I've ever seen that was more blatant than that was I can't remember what player it was, but it was the LSU Florida State game last year, and I mean I swear there was this one play where it's like usually it's like I don't think that it's intentional, but this one it's like the guy was just like straight up I am going to target this man. I mean, he just, you know, like head first into the, like
Big
it
launch
was
and
wild.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't launch.
yeah.
um, but yeah, so going forward, you gotta. I guess how many more series do we have left? So we have Alabama,
We've
and then
got
we have this.
Alabama this weekend, and then we've got at Mississippi State, and then after
Okay.
that it's the SEC tournament out in Hoover, and
So
then and
you
then
need
we nervously await the results of the selection show.
and so we need to win at least like three more, right? In our series and maybe like a midweek game. Is that what you think? Or
I don't think we have a midweek game before the last before
okay,
the
well, that's why I
Mississippi
wasn't
State series.
sure.
We've got
But
we've got
you,
um, we've got 6 games left. We got to win 3 of those minimum, 4 to really
yeah,
feel safe. We got to win both these series.
yeah, and I mean they're winnable series on paper. I would think. Alabama in a downward spiral. You would think with losing their
Okay,
coach.
but they're not in a downward spiral. They fired their head coach for the gambling scandal and then beat Vanderbilt last weekend.
Yeah, that's the
They
thing.
beat the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah, maybe they're actually good and they've just been shaving points all year.
Well, that was so frustrating. It was like yeah, we beat Florida, but then these other teams around us, like Alabama, who's competing for the same spot, they won. They had that big win against Vandy, and then Georgia was playing. I want to say Tennessee. I think like they won the series against Tennessee or swept them, and then
The SEC is very
yeah,
competitive, very
South
strong.
Carolina got swept by Auburn, maybe that way. All the teams that were competing with for spots all also
It,
won, and they all have similar records. That's part of what makes this Bama series so important.
and it's just ridiculous. The level of talent in college baseball in the SEC is nuts.
And
I
there's
think
there's 11 teams that have a legitimate shot at the tournament.
yeah, like in I think I would say it's more dominant than football in a certain aspect. Like if you look at the talent level, the parity like of all the teams, they're closer together in to an extent
Well,
than
yeah, like
even
in
football. You
football, the
can just
Big
argue
Two
with
is the
that.
SEC and the Big Ten. In baseball,
Yeah,
it's the SEC, and then the clear number 2 is the ACC, and then you've
yeah,
got probably Pac-12 and some random West Coast schools. But the
yeah.
thing with college baseball is they start the season in February, so none of the northern teams ever really have a chance because no one
You got
they
to be
don't
on the
get
coast or
none
in the
of the good
south.
players want to go there, and they have to play like the first month and a half, 2 months of their season just all road games because it's still snow on the ground up there.
That's why you see the teams on the coast and then the south, where it's
Yeah,
warmer, where it's a
yeah,
more mild climate.
the southern teams and the West Coast.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in the East Coast too, you got the ACC out there. They got some good teams too. But yeah. So we'll transition here into a little bit of music. Well, no, wait, we can't. We have to talk about. So, what exactly happened with that Alabama scandal? I feel like we have to mention it if we're going to play it next week. I feel like it's like with the whole gambling thing. So you have a point shaving
Well,
situation.
they
Did
don't. They
you?
haven't confirmed what exactly it was. What
Yeah,
the working theory right now is that the head coach was. Well, what I've heard is that the head coach tipped off to somebody who's placing a
right.
bet up in Cincinnati at the Reds ballpark, which apparently has gambling. Which
Yeah,
I wish we could
I,
do that here.
yeah,
I would like to go. I would like to go
yeah,
watch the Rangers and then bet on the bet on the game.
yeah. I wish sports
But
betting was a thing in
anyways,
Texas. But anyway,
I keep getting keep getting off topic.
okay, it's a
So
podcast.
Brad
It's fine.
Bohannon, the Alabama head baseball coach, uh, he got fired just a couple of days after. So what happened first? The Ohio Gaming Commission suspended all gambling on LSU athletics, and then
Right.
or not LSU on Alabama baseball, and then after that, the next day, the Louisiana Gaming Commission also also suspended all bets on Alabama baseball games. And
Yes.
then what's
Wait a
come
minute.
out is somebody placed a bet, and they didn't say how large the bet was either, at
Hmm.
that casino at that like betting booth or whatever you would call it there at in
Sportsbook.
Cincinnati,
Hmm.
and I guess the first thing that probably raised up a red flag was that someone was betting on a college baseball game in Ohio. I mean, how many
Yeah,
people? I mean, because baseball's not. I mean, we were just saying a second ago, baseball's not big up, or college baseball's not big up there.
let alone Alabama versus LSU in the state
Yeah.
of. It's just a weird like thing to bet on.
Well, yeah, and it's also that it was it was Alabama. I mean, it was LSU. They've got their that Paul Skeens as their Friday night starter, like the far and away the best player in all of college baseball.
Uh huh. Then they
Good
scratch
chance
him
of
for
being the
back
number one pick in
tightness.
the MLB draft, and
Hmm.
so and it was at LSU, and that guy was pitching. So it was already like LSU minus 240, I think was the line. I mean, it was all LSU was already the heavy favorites, but
Hmm.
Alabama had to scratch their starting pitcher about an hour or two before the game started,
I
or
saw that.
right before the game, and supposedly that got leaked, and then someone must have placed a big bet, which for college baseball to raise the alarms, a big bet's probably not anywhere near what it would be in other sports.
Yeah.
Someone's betting $200 on college baseball games. Someone's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
And then
and so that raised. So that they've been all secretive. They haven't come out with the findings yet, but they were doing their investigation. Just like Alabama does the investigations on all their other numerous scandals
well,
they've had. The
well,
past couple.
I don't know. They did fire him at least, so that means that just makes me think that there's definitely something going on if he got fired though.
Yeah,
Like they know something. So it's just where there's smoke, there's fire, or something like that. They're just like you're gone. But the whole Alabama athletics hasn't had a great track record lately, and I don't know if it's just their their students, if it's just because the kids are coming in and have these large NIL deals, and they don't know they're not mature enough to handle it, or if it's something else going on. But there's just a lot of crazy stuff happening there that
well, the crazy thing, I mean, it was the head coach, the guy who
yeah,
already makes $450,000 a year to coach baseball.
and you're gonna bet on like shady
How is
things,
he
I'm
getting
sure.
wrapped up in this?
Yeah, like it's very sketchy, and it's like it's either very sketchy or it's very sad. Like this guy just has like an extreme like gambling addiction or something. Like I don't know why you would feel the need to do something like that, but
I just
I
can't
guess we'll find
imagine
out.
but what information could he have possibly gave that would make it worth? I mean, so someone's gonna have to like pay him or whatever to get that information,
Is
then
that all they're
place a
saying it
large
was that he
bet.
gave him information?
I mean, at minus 240. So I mean, you've got to bet like you
Yeah,
bet $240. You're not even getting half of that back. I mean,
yeah. It's you got to bet 240 to win 100, right? If it's minus
yeah.
240. So yeah, like what's I don't know. Or were they weren't betting on LSU, were they? I mean, I don't know. That's just it's strange.
Yeah.
But that's just what we have to wonder about, I guess, going forward. But I want to move into music. So, Morgan Wallen, he, there was the whole skepticism. He canceled those few shows, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's just drunk or whatever." But, um, apparently it was legit because, and like we said, it might be
It still
legit.
gave us that meme Instagram post where that girl, where that lady wanted everything refunded.
Yes, there were people like posting itemized receipts. I think
Yeah,
I talked about that on
have
the.
you seen the one I'm talking about, which posted the itemized receipt? That's not just the tickets and then like the
Oh no,
travel,
like their
the
outfits and
hotel, but
everything.
also like her meal at Cracker Barrel, her trip to Rebel Route, which is basically the Ole Miss version of Aggieland Outfitters,
Yes.
because she wouldn't have gone there if she wasn't there for the concert. I mean,
Yeah, it was like the meal, the drinks, and then
yeah.
it was like their outfits, their concert tickets, of course, but like their outfits, their travel, everything. It's like, bro, like he's gonna reschedule. I mean, come on now.
I
You
think
saw
if I
the
remember right, the
openers.
guy's outfit cost more than her outfit.
Yeah, it's just like dang.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna be on vocal rest. That he came out, he made an apology on Instagram and everything. He's working on rescheduling all the shows. He was actually gonna come play here in Houston. Not here in Houston. I'm in Magnolia, which is like an hour away. But you get it. He was going to come play here in Houston at Minute Maid Park with Hardy, and that was going to be a cool show. I knew
Oh,
some
hell of
people that
another
were going to
baseball
that.
scandal.
Hey, easy now, easy now. We support the Astros on the Red Dirt Aggie Show. Well, Colin doesn't, but I do. He's a Rangers fan over there. Boo. He's a Rangers fan. Where's the boo button? There it is.
Wow,
But
two percent
we
much. Aggies don't boo other Aggies. Come on, man.
well, I didn't. The button did.
You need a horse lock button.
I did it. The button did, and what we do is we do cheer the Astros. Okay. So anyway, he's canceling his tour for 6 weeks. He was ordered by doctors to go on vocal rest, and they said if he doesn't, then he's going to have permanent damage to his voice, and it can really mess up a lot of stuff. Blah blah blah. So basically, he's done for 6 weeks at least, and that's understandable. The guy's got to protect his career. Um, but one thing that did make me laugh is Rich O'Toole tweeted something about it again, and he was like, "Man, if I was making the kind of money Morgan Wallen was on those shows, I would have Milli Vanilli'd that stuff and done some lip syncing or something." I was just like, "Dang." I thought that was funny, but shout out to our good buddy there. But yeah, and then you had Parker McCollum up near you in the Dallas area in Frisco, up near you, Colin. Parker McCollum had a album release party because he's got a new album coming out on Friday. I think it was at the Star, is where he did it. But and his whole party was sponsored by Lou Casey because he's got a Lou Casey deal and is like Mr. Hotshot now. But Co Wetzel commented on his post saying thanks to Lou Casey for this party and stuff. And of course Co Wetzel goes on and comments and he's like, I want to see if I can get Skechers to throw me a party. And I'm like, oh, I just love the back and forth between the two. I don't know, Colin, have you seen over in Fort Worth that Co Wetzel opened a new bar?
Well, no, I haven't seen that.
It's called Co Wetzel's Riot Room or something like that.
That sounds
And
appropriate.
yeah, it sounds appropriate, right? And apparently he makes appearances there every now and then. Like he was guest bartending over there the other day and stuff. But we'll have to go there in Fort Worth sometime. We'll have to go to Fort Worth, go to the stockyards, and see that sometime. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's a trip to go there. But in other news, music news, you got Rich O'Toole's working on a new album. Sort of announced today. He said he's got 12 songs that he wants to make into an album, so he's gonna start working on one. Saw some posts of Casey Donahue in the studio working on new music. Josh Abbott band making new music. You got Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen gearing up for another Hold My Beer and Watch This tour, version 17 or whatever. I feel like they've done a lot of those.
Yeah.
But usually they do those acoustic tours in the summer. And then, Colin, I know you're excited for this one. We're going to be seeing Pat Green at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles this weekend at the Bachelor Bar. Not this
PFG.
weekend, next weekend. What was that?
PFG.
PFG.
Pat F. and Green.
Oh, okay.
Keeping it clean.
I was like PFG, like the Sharrots.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pat Green at the Golden Nugget. Can't wait for that one. And we'll have to place some sports bets. We'll bet on Aggie Baseball if we can, if that's allowed. We'll try not to raise any alarms. I promise we're not involved in any scandals.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We wouldn't be able to give tips on the starting pitching because our starting pitching has been so unreliable that the past 2 weekends, you know what our what Coach Sloss has been turning in as our expected pitching matchups.
Old TBD.
TBD, TBD, and TBD.
To
So
be determined.
yeah, someone gave me a hot tip that TBD's pitching on Friday, so I'm gonna try to get to Louisiana in time to place that bet.
Yeah, I mean TBD's been a hit or miss for us, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll get the good TBD. But but yeah, so this concludes this episode of the Red Dirt Aggie Show. So thanks for watching, as always. Comment, rate, and subscribe down there. I think, depending on which side.
If it's in that corner, then do that one.
Yeah, but if it's in that corner, oh god, I hit the mic. If it's in that corner, do that one. Gig 'em and God bless. See you next time. Peace.